The world has a strange way of making you believe you have control. Like you have a say in how things unfold. Like your choices truly belong to you. But do you? Most people. No, all people are just puppets with strings they can't even see, moving through life thinking they're free, when in reality, they're just responding, dancing to a melody someone else composed. And you? You're no exception. Not yet anyway. You wake up, follow a pattern, chase ambitions that were never truly yours, all because someone told you that's how it's supposed to be. They fill your mind with ideas, make you feel things you never questioned. Doubt, regret, fear. They keep you trapped with invisible shackles and you call it existence. But let me ask you, what happens when you break free? They'll label you insane. They'll say you're a threat. Because an independent mind, that's what terrifies them the most. You see, when you stop obeying their rules, you become erratic. And erratic? Oh, that's power. Because power isn't wealth. It isn't brute force or influence or some rank people bow before. True power is when no one dictates your thoughts. Ever notice how people follow trends without thinking? One person claims something is good, and suddenly the masses comply. One person declares something's wrong, and immediately everyone agrees. No evidence, no logic, just submission, like trained animals. But you're going to be different. You're going to question. Because the moment you start thinking for yourself, you become unstoppable. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're walking through a dark street and someone lunges at you with a blade. What's your first instinct? Fear, right? You hesitate. You freeze. Your thoughts vanish because fear paralyzes you. But what if you trained your mind to react differently? Instead of fear, what if you saw opportunity, detected the flaws in your attacker? Instead of being controlled, you would take charge. That's the difference between prey and predator. And life is a battleground, kid. You either strategize or you get defeated. See, they want you weak. They want you unsure. They want you to doubt yourself, to crave their validation. Because a person who needs approval is a person who can be led. The person who thinks for themselves. They don't require anyone. And nothing terrifies them more than someone who stands alone. Oh, but here's the price. Thinking for yourself, that's the loneliest road you'll ever take. Because the moment you refuse to conform, the crowd turns against you. Friends vanish. Family won't understand. Society will call you arrogant, stubborn, even cruel, because people fear what they can't control. But hear me out. You have one existence, one chance. Are you really going to waste it as a puppet? Living a script that isn't even yours? Or are you going to snap out of it and start using the only weapon that truly matters, your mind? Consider this. If they can shape how you feel, they can dictate what you do. If they control what you do, they control who you become. And if they define who you become, then tell me, who are you really? You're going to struggle. That's inevitable. People will deceive you. That's certain. You'll be shattered, tested, pushed to your limits. That's life. But what matters? It's how you perceive it. Most people crumble because they never train their minds to endure hardship. They let suffering consume them. But you're going to learn to master it. You've been hurt, deceived, betrayed. You think I don't see it, that I don't understand? But tell me, are you really going to let that define you? Are you going to let your past own you? You're going to take that pain and forge it into something indestructible. A mind sharper than any weapon, stronger than any force. And when they come for you, and they will, you won't break. You won't bow. You won't conform because you'll understand the truth. That the greatest weapon isn't force. It isn't an army. It isn't wealth, status, or influence. It's a mind they can't bend. You ever wonder why people obey without question? Why they accept what they're told, even when it defies logic? It's because they've been conditioned to follow since birth. They've been programmed. Schools don't teach you to think. They teach you to comply, sit down, absorb, memorize, repeat, obey. They don't cultivate individuals, they manufacture tools. Predictable, manageable, easily directed. And when one of those tools malfunctions, when one of them dares to ask questions, well, they get labeled. Rebel, misfit, nuisance. They break you down, isolate you. make you feel defective for refusing to conform. And the worst part? Most people give in, because humans are fragile beings. They'd rather blend into the crowd than stand alone. They'd rather be accepted than be right. But not you. No, you're not going to be like them. You're not going to be another faceless follower. You're going to be the one watching from the shadows. Because when you start using your mind, truly using it, you stop being a pawn. You stop reacting. You see the system for what it is. The trap. A calculated, deceptive trap designed to keep you powerless. But once you recognize the strings, you can cut them. And that unnerves them. Oh, that shakes them. A person who can't be controlled. A person who refuses to be manipulated. He's dangerous. He's chaotic. They'll do everything to crush him. They'll brand him as a menace, a threat, a villain. But because he won't conform. Because he refuses to be weak. You've seen it. How people operate. They deceive the ones who love them. They exploit the vulnerable. They smile at you and betray you the moment you turn away. And yet they have the audacity to call you ruthless when you decide to stop trusting, when you choose to guard yourself. Ironic, isn't it? They can manipulate, discard, and that's normal. But the moment you refuse to let them, you're the enemy. But listen to me. You owe them nothing. Not your trust, not your allegiance, not your pain. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you saw a truly independent person? Someone who speaks freely without fear. Someone who walks through life without chains. They're rare, almost extinct, because the world despises free minds. A free mind doesn't seek approval. It doesn't submit to society's demands. It doesn't care about acceptance. And people, they can't tolerate that. They need you to seek validation. They need you to be dependent. Because as long as you rely on them, they have leverage over you. But the moment you stop depending, the moment you become self-reliant, you become something else entirely. Something terrifying. Something invincible. You think your greatest adversary is out there? Someone who wronged you? Some rival standing in your way? No, your greatest adversary is the voice inside telling you to surrender. The part of you that fears solitude. The part that craves belonging. That's your true enemy. And until you eradicate that weakness, until you eliminate that hesitation, you will never be free. Because the strongest chains are the ones you place on yourself. Look around. Look at those who harmed you. The ones who lied, who vanished when you needed them. You think they dwell on it? You think they feel remorse? They sleep peacefully. They move on. Because that's human nature. They take. They exploit. And when they're done, they discard. And if you're still there, drowning in their betrayal, waiting for fairness, you're blind. Because fairness is an illusion. The only justice is the one you create. They say to be kind, but kindness can be mistaken for weakness when given to those who don't deserve it. They say to forgive, but forgiveness only makes you an easier target for those who will betray you again. They say to be patient, but patience is worthless when the ones you are waiting for were never meant to return. They say to move on, but moving forward doesn't erase the wounds. It doesn't undo the past. The only thing that erases the past is power, and power comes from the mind. Think about it. What separates a ruler from a servant? A leader from a follower? It's not wealth. It's not birthright. It's not fate. It's mindset. A ruler does not wait for approval. A leader does not ask for permission. He takes what belongs to him. He bends the world to his will rather than being shaped by it. And if you ever wish to be truly free, you must do the same. So let them talk. Let them judge you. Let them try to guilt trip you for putting yourself first. But never forget this. Their opinions are irrelevant. Their validation is meaningless. Their acceptance is laughable. Because in the end, they are nothing more than background noise. And you are the storm. They think they can break you. They think they can turn you into one of them. Let them try. Let them destroy everything you cherish. Let them strip you of everything you have. Let them rip you apart, piece by piece, soul by soul. And when the dust settles, when the ruins remain, when they believe they have finally defeated you, you will still stand. Because a mind that cannot be owned, a soul that cannot be manipulated, a man who cannot be controlled, that is the most terrifying force in the world. And that is who you were always meant to be. They will come for you in ways you cannot predict. Not with fists, not with threats. No, that would be too obvious, too crude. They will come with words, with doubts, with subtle poison masked as concern, as friendship, as love. They will whisper to you, telling you that you are too distant, too cold, too unfeeling. They will ask why you refuse to surrender, why you won't just blend in. And if you are not careful, if you let them into your thoughts, you will start to believe them. And the moment you begin to believe them, you lose. Because it was never about their words. It was about their intentions. And their intention was always to weaken you, to drag you back into their pit of mediocrity. Because nothing terrifies the ordinary man more than someone who refuses to be ordinary. Think about it. When was the last time you saw someone who was truly independent, truly strong, truly alone, and respected for it? Never. Because the world does not respect power. It fears it. And what people fear, they seek to destroy. They need you to need them. They need you to be dependent, vulnerable, controllable. Because if you are truly strong, then they are nothing. Then their entire existence is exposed as a lie. Their justifications become worthless. Their excuses, nothing but proof of their own weakness. That is why they will try to break you. That is why they will stand against you. Not because you are wrong. Not because you are cruel or evil, but because you are something they can never be. Unshaken. And let me tell you something. When you become untouchable, when you stop justifying, stop reacting, stop explaining, you will lose people. Oh, you will lose everyone. Friends will disappear, lovers will turn cold, family will shake their heads, disappointed in the person you have become. And you will stand alone, questioning if maybe, just maybe, they were right. But hear me out. They were never right. They never understood. They are weak. And the weak will never comprehend the strong. They cannot grasp a man who does not crave validation, who does not seek approval like a beggar chasing scraps. They mistake your silence for arrogance, your detachment for cruelty, your self-control for emptiness. Because they simply do not understand. They have never stood where you stand. They have never seen what you see. And they never will. So you will walk alone. You will sit in empty rooms with no one to call, no one to lean on, no one to tell you that you are on the right path. You will question yourself. You will doubt. You will wonder if you made a mistake, if you should have conformed, if maybe weakness wasn't so bad after all. But then something will change. You will see them. The ones who walked away, the ones who doubted you, the ones who said you were too much, too distant, too uncaring. You will watch as they crawl back, regret in their eyes, shame in their voices, realizing too late that you were never the problem, that they were. And that moment will define everything. Because you will not take them back. You will not give them what they once took for granted. You will not bend. You will stand there, indifferent, watching as they crumble, as they suffer under the weight of their own choices. And you will feel nothing. No rage, no sorrow, not even satisfaction. Because you will finally understand that their pain was always theirs to bear, never yours. And that is real power. Not revenge, not dominance, but the unshakable realization that you are free. Free from them. Free from their opinions, their expectations, their need to make you small. Free from justifying yourself to those who never deserved you in the first place. And that freedom, it will terrify them. Because nothing is more frightening to the weak than a man who does not need them. So let them go. Let them doubt. Let them call you whatever they must to sleep at night. None of it matters because you were never one of them. And you never will be. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop fighting to belong, the sooner you will become what you were always destined to be. Unstoppable. They will try again, of course. The world will always try to pull you back. With love, with guilt, with nostalgia. It will try every trick to make you soften, to make you believe in its illusions once more. And maybe, for a moment, you will falter. Maybe, for a moment, you will miss the illusion of warmth. But then you will remember the truth. That the warmth was never real. That the love was always conditional. That the moment you refuse to play their game, they will turn on you again. And you will laugh. Because you will understand, finally, that you never needed any of it. That you never needed them. The secret is this. Control is not about force, fear, or status. True control is about independence. It's about making you believe that you need something outside yourself to be complete. Love, approval, validation. But here's the truth. You were always whole. You were always enough. The only difference now is that you see it. Now you know. And that knowledge, that certainty, is what makes you unstoppable.